Hi, this is Gene, retired in Mexico, and we ask one question on this channel, which is do they write them and sing them like they used to? A lot of people, young and old, they think the old music is better than the new, but I'm not so sure. And today we're going to hit up Radiohead's top 10 songs. Now, let me be clear, these are my 10 favorite songs. I'm not saying these are the best songs. If I say they're the best, that's a superlative, and I'm not doing that. I'm not saying these are the 10 best songs, but these are my 10 personal favorites. And so one thing I did was I went through all the non-album tracks, and there were a couple that I really liked. One was called Harry Patch, and that's just orchestration and Tom York's vocals, and I love that song. It's about a World War I veteran. And I also like a song called The Daily Mail, and the Daily Mail is the name of a UK newspaper, if I'm not mistaken, and it's kind of a political critique. And I really like both those songs, but neither one of them made my top 10. So my top 10 is based solely on album tracks. Those were the ones that I picked. And I've got some notes because there's a lot to cover here, and I don't want the video to drag on too long. So I'm going to pull up my notes right now, and we're going to count down my 10 favorite songs. And I'd be curious to know what your 10 favorite songs are. I'm sure they'll differ from mine. I have one deep track, I think, and 9 singles, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go ahead and talk about my number 10 song. This one is from Amnesiac, and it's called You and Whose Army. So some of my notes here are my own words, and some are extracted from Genius and some other sources. So I'll just read them, and I'll try to attribute where I can. This one is from Genius. It says that You and Whose Army slightly recalled OK Computer, and that York's yearning vocal cry of "Come on, come on, come on," repeated over and over, somehow felt a tad like Karma Police. Okay, maybe. A crunching organ and string section drives the track, which falls under lilting and poetic. So then there's a note about how it makes use of kindergarten-like rhetoric to talk about very serious political issues. Kindergarten-like rhetoric disputes, so like I did, you did not, that kind of thing. And this was something Tom said in Mojo magazine. So I like this little thing here, though. He says, Tom York said originally it was about the voices in my head that were driving me round the bend. And then once I came up with that "You and Whose Army" phrase, I was able to stick other ideas on there, and Blair emerged as the song's real subject matter. So that would be Tony Blair, who was the Prime Minister of the UK. The song's ultimately about someone who is elected into power by people and who then blatantly betrays them, just like Blair did. At the same time, I think he couldn't help betraying his country. I think the man's a fool. He's just a product of his time, like any important public figure. So that's what the song's about. But I just love the melody on this. So let's go ahead and hit up a little 30-second clip of You and Whose Army.
Come on, you think you drive me crazy? Well, come on, you and his army.
Coming in at number 9 is a deep track, and this may surprise some of you because it's not really one of the better known songs of the 21st century, but it's Codex from King of Limbs. Now, to my ears, this is similar to Sail to the Moon from Hail to the Thief. And it was almost a coin flip on these two tracks. However, I like the melody and lyrics just a bit better. The melody and the lyrics are a bit darker. It features piano prominently, just like Sail to the Moon. It also has orchestration like that song. However, this one, on first listen, it appears to be about suicide. But then as you repeatedly listen, you realize it's about something else. And what that is isn't entirely clear. perhaps an intellectual or spiritual jumping into a clear lake. That's based on the lyrics. I find the lyrics to be chilling, disturbing, comforting, and beautiful, emotions that should not necessarily go together, but that's the brilliance of Radiohead. And I get something different from this track as time goes on. I'm drawn to it. Here's what Genius says. Codex is a narcoticized cousin to Pyramid Song, so they have a different opinion than I do. And that that Codex features woozily flanged piano chords, long plaintive horn trills, and Yorkit is most evocative, and I would agree with that. So let's hit up a little 30-second clip of Codex from King of Limbs. Coming in number 8 is Weird Fish's Arpeggi from In Rainbows. This song opens with a drum shuffle and strummed electric guitar chords, and York comes in early on this song, and I think all the tones and melodies are very pretty. But then the lyrics get delightfully weird, so I especially love the way York sings the title Weird Fishes. It almost reminds me of when Van Morrison sings about bubbles. So there's this song, I can't remember which one it is, but he sings about the bubbles and then he goes boo. And it's so strange, it's so weird. And York's a little weird too, the way he does his phrasing on Weird Fishes. There's a keyboard in these lines, that part of the song, that mimics a xylophone, and that gives this part of the song an underwater feel. But then Selway's drums come crashing in to jolt us back to earth. And this is the arpeggi section, which I guess, from what I read, was performed separately in concert prior to completion of this song. So let's go ahead and hit up a 30-second clip of Weird Fish's Arpeggi from In Rainbows.
I get eaten by the worms and weird fishes, picked over by the worms and weird fishes, weird fishes.
So coming in at number 7 is from Hail to the Thief. So this was my least favorite album comparatively, though it's an album I like a lot. And I already mentioned the song Sail to the Moon. And this is my favorite track from Hail to the Thief, There. And it's a song with wonderful percussion and an emotional vocal from Tom. So here's a little bit of what Genius says, not everything that they say, but released in May of 2003, There describes the human struggle against the evil forces of temptation that vie to lead us astray. So that's a classic Radiohead theme. And the song is marked by heavy use of tom-tom drums throughout, played by both Johnny Greenwood and Ed O'Brien, in addition to Phil Selway, and murky, reverb-laden guitars. Over the course of a relatively long 5 minutes, the track builds to a loud crescendo, topped with a distorted guitar riff. The beat and intensity of the song have made it a crowd favorite at the band's live performances. By the time it was finished, Tom felt it was the best thing they'd ever recorded. And it's certainly a great song. So let's dive right into it. Here's a 30-second clip of There from Hail to the Thief.
Just 'cause you feel doesn't mean it's
coming in at number 6 is a song from Kid A. And this one is How to Disappear Completely. So this is the 4th track off the album, I believe, right after You and Whose Army. And I just love the quietness of this song and the way it builds in intensity. It's based around a dream that Tom had, which he was floating around the city as if he were a ghost. The chorus came from advice that Michael Stipe of REM gave him during the OK Computer tour. So I guess they were on a double bill, and the advice was that he could get away from everything, apparently by pretending he wasn't there. So the aesthetic of the instrumentals and the vocals in this song dovetail nicely, and it's resulting in an almost impressionistic effect, wherein the band sonically recreates the sensations and mind states of those fleeting, dreamlike, seemingly hallucinatory glimpses of our universe. Pretty heavy. So it's, they said here, it's taken from a book called How to Disappear Completely and Never Be Found. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. So let's get right into it and hit up a 30-second clip from How to Disappear Completely, Kid A.
Yeah, it's gone, and I'm not here. This isn't happening.
So coming in at number 5 is a song from Amnesiac again. So this is the Pyramid song. This is a really popular song. And so I think you guys probably concur. So let me read what Genius says, because this is better, I think, than what I can say. Malevolent, moving epic, this sets the stage for the rest of Amnesiac. It has spooky piano chords, Tom York singing beautifully, and strings that evoke being pulled into a vortex. So John Darnielle of the Mountain Goats writes, our opinion on this question is that Pyramid Song is actually a hand reaching out of a rabbit hole, proffering delicious candy. Only the candy is drugged and there are no rabbits in the hole, just ghosts and the promise of bad times ahead. All right, that's one interpretation, right? I just had to read that. That's too funny. But, you know, the song has a remarkably unusual rhythm. It's even a point of debate among fans, and I think that debate is the time. Apparently, the song is in 4/4 time. A lot of people think it isn't. So one theory about it is that the song's name is geometrically derived from the length of its notes. However, Colin Greenwood said in an interview the inception of the song was when we were in Copenhagen, and Tom went round the Museum of Culture, and there was an exhibition of Egyptian underworld and tomb art of people being ferried across the river of death. I don't know what it's called in Egyptian mythology, and he was very affected by it, and he went back and sat behind the piano and wrote it. That last bit there, I'll take that. I mean, who knows what the song's really about, but I like that. So let's go ahead and jump into Pyramid Song. Just a wonderful, wonderful track. Coming into number 4, we're going to jump way ahead to the most recent album, A Moon-Shaped Pool. And you've probably guessed the track. It's the opener, Burn the Witch. Man, I love this song. So this is a quote, not my words. Radiohead has a long history with this song. Phrases related to Burn the Witch first appeared in the cover art to 2003's Hail to the Thief. So there's all those words that the artist created. The lyrics were reportedly finished in '05, and since then it has been teased through the years, appearing in unfinished track lists and in snippets of slow, somber piano chords performed at concerts. Um, let's see here. I'm going to skip this line. Here's another thing based on, let's see, Verpi Ketu said his understanding of what the band was after. She opines that they may have wanted Witch to raise awareness about the refugee crisis in Europe and the blaming of different people, the blaming of Muslims, and the negativity that could lead to sentiments such as Burn the Witch. She alluded to the mysterious postcard some Radiohead fans received recently that read, "We know where you live," a suggestion she thought of the current insecurity and blame game spawned by anti-immigration politicians. So for sure, they're echoing the Salem witch trials and other episodes in history where witches were burned and using it as a metaphor for modern times. So I think you can put what you want into it. But man, I just love the line. I made sure to put this on the clip, the line where he sings, "This is a roundup, this is a low-flying panic attack." I just love the words to this song. It's absolutely fantastic, killer track, and hopefully you all like this song too. So let's do a 30-second clip of Burn the Witch.
Stay in the shadows, cheer the gallows. This is a roundup. This is a low-flying panic attack. Sing a song.
And by the way, on Burn the Witch, I read that they asked the string players to put their bows down and to use guitar picks on the violins and cellos, whatever. And that's how they got that really unusual string effect. So, something I forgot to say, but it's just really cool. The strings do not sound normal on that song. So, coming in at number 3, and I think this one might surprise you guys. Well, a little bit. But I'm going to King of Limbs. And I love the song Lotus Flower. So I love the rubbery elastic sonics of the rhythm section and the catchy melody and York's frailer vocals. Now, what do I mean by rubbery elastic sonics? There's a boing boing. There's like this a wobble or bend or something in the song that's really cool. And the lyrics are fantastic. They speak of things like moon on a stick and fast ballooning head. Just really interesting Tom York lyrics. There's a great delay on York's vocals, including several seconds of shimmering repeated echo. I don't have that in the clip, but there's just, his voice just carries on for seconds on the delay. And so, although Reckoner was rated higher on one of Guardian had picked Reckoner as their favorite song from King of Limbs, but I think most people would pick this track as the standout. There's 2 or 3 songs that people seem to like, and based on Spotify, I think most people pick Lotus Flower. Beautiful, beautiful song. Let's go ahead and hit up a 30-second clip of that. So I didn't catch any of York's vocals on that little 30-second clip, but I really wanted you to hear that cool instrumentation. I just love the opening of that song, and the song just keeps getting better, so you can do your own deep dive. And coming in at number 2 is a song that I think it would surprise you guys that I have it at number 2. It's a popular song, but most people wouldn't put it at number 2. And it was written during the OK Computer sessions, but it did not come out until 2007. And it has to be one of their best melodies. This is Nude from In Rainbows, opening with the line, "Don't get any big ideas, they're not going to happen." That's a great lyrical intro. The drums are perfectly stated, and the keyboards create a haunting counter melody that kind of act as orchestration to me. Great tones from the electric guitar, and York holds a really long note on the last verse before singing some beautiful oohs and ahs on the outro. His range, as usual, is mesmerizing. And I've got a lot of notes here, but the video's running long, so let me just say that this last sentence, the song describes the consequences of a world where one idea is shared by everyone. And I think I've heard this called groupthink as well. Um, just, what can I say? My second favorite Radiohead song of the 21st century. So let's waste no more time and go right to it. Here's Nude from In Rainbows.
Don't get any big ideas. They're not gonna happen.
Just love the bass, just understated but perfect on that song. All right, so what's my number 1 song? I will tell you it's not a surprise. This is a lot of people's favorite song. So what is it? Drum roll, right? Okay, my favorite song by Radiohead in this century is the national anthem from Kid A. It's the third song off Radiohead's Kid A, and lead singer Tom York sings short, ambiguous lyrics using voice distortion and a feedback echo that creates a sense of isolation and fear. The looping heavy bass line, which by the way, I read that the bass on this song was played by Tom York. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I read that in one place. So I think that's interesting because it's such an iconic, and I don't use that word lightly, but it's such an iconic bass line. So to think that he played that is pretty cool. Um, so this says that the song was composed when he was 16 years old. And the early electronic instrument called an Andes Martinat, and that's from way back in the early 20th century. It was played by Johnny Greenwood and inspired by I always want to say this name correctly. I did not take French, but Olivier Messiaen. So I've listened to his music before. It's some pretty cool 20th century classical. The free jazz style brass section, played by the musicians from the St. John's Orchestra and conducted by Greenwood and York, was inspired by the work of Charles Mingus. And boy, do I hear that when those saxes come in and play that free jazz part. It comes in normal. One sax comes in and plays kind of a normal riff, but then all the rest of the horns come in, and it's a little bit of a cacophony. It's really cool. Add to that some interlaced sound effects, some mysterious samples, and you get a mood at once typical of early 2000s Radiohead and unique in their whole discography. And I wrote a note here that I hear the Mingus influence in saxophones. There's 9 guest musicians on here, 8 horn players, and a sampler, a person who does samples. So 9 guest musicians. Really unusual for Radiohead. The band attempted to record the song twice before, in 94 and 97. I guess they were unhappy with it. But they didn't want to release it as a B-side because they felt the song was too good. And then there's this orchestra that comes in about 30 seconds before the song is over. And I also this week I watched their performance of this on Saturday Night Live, which I'm not going to upload here because it would get blocked for sure. NBC is notorious for blocking. But if you have a chance to go to the Saturday Night Live website on YouTube and watch Radiohead's performance of the national anthem, it smokes, and you really see Johnny Greenwood playing that instrument. And it's kind of interesting too, because he's so busy on the Ondas Martinet, Ed O'Brien plays all the electric guitar on the song, and so it's just really cool. Like say, if York's playing bass and O'Brien's playing lead guitar, you've just got this really different lineup, and then with all the guest musicians. So I think you guys are all familiar with this song, but it's worth a repeat listen. Let's go ahead and hit up the national anthem from Kid A, 2000, my favorite Radiohead song.
Everyone is so near. Everyone is fear. Is holding on. Is holding on.
Oh man, that was far too short. I wanted to hear so much more of that. So thanks for joining me on the channel. And one comment I forgot to make on the song There, just real quick. Big influence from the German band Can. Krautrock, as they call it. People still use that term. And I can hear it all over that song. So it's just a comment I forgot to make. But thanks for joining me here. My 10 favorite songs by Radiohead, a band that I just love. And as we say here in Mexico, buen dia. If you like the channel, hit the subscribe or like button, and let me know what your favorite songs are. Take care.